Good, happy Monday morning, April 6th, 2020. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Monday morning, so let's begin. First up, let's take a look at your COVID-19 in New Hampshire, what you need to know. And here's a look at that COVID-19 in New Hampshire, what you need to know. There are 669 number of people in New Hampshire who have tested positive for COVID-19. 1,268,855 number of people worldwide who have tested positive. 9 number of deaths from COVID-19 in New Hampshire. 92 number of people hospitalized with COVID-19 in New Hampshire. And 9,558 number of deaths from COVID-19 in the United States. This map of New Hampshire shows where, in what towns and cities, cases of COVID-19 are in. For example, Nashua, 66 cases of COVID-19. And this graph right here is new cases each day in New Hampshire. In the purple, daily new positive COVID-19 cases. In the orange, new hospitalizations. And in the red are the deaths. And again, your common symptoms: fever, cough, and difficult breathing. How it spreads. And prevention tips. And be sure to stay with the Riley King Network for the latest of your COVID-19 information. New Hampshire emergency officials prepare for expected late April surge of COVID-19 cases. Officials order equipment, hospital beds. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Tim Callery.
Why choose Century Roofing? You've met my team, the best in the business. Is a lifetime warranty good enough for you? And payment options, financing is available, and we accept all credit cards.
Century Roofing, we got you covered.
Well, Mike, on Friday, the governor said New Hampshire could see its surge around late April, early May. So right now, here at the EOC, officials are gathering the necessary gear so that hospitals are ready once that happens. Right now, there are 14 surge sites located all across the state. They will provide some 5,000 beds for hospitals to use should they become overwhelmed by the increase in patients. Also tonight, the state continues to order personal protective equipment for local hospitals, such as masks, gowns, gloves, face shields, and ventilators. Perry Plummer, Assistant Commissioner for the New Hampshire Department of Safety, says the race is on right now to get all that gear in before we see a surge in cases.
A lot of it's coming from overseas. We have flights coming in. We're distributing it. We're working as hard as we can to make those resources match that surge or stay ahead of that surge.
And as the state does its part, it says the public can also help. So tonight, they're really driving home the importance of social distancing. They say it can play a major role in easing the stress on local hospitals as cases rise. But live here in Concord, I'm Tim Callery, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. 911 calls down statewide. Dispatchers prepare for surge. Burglary, property crime remain prevalent. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Tyler Dumont.
At Beltates, customers will find everything they need for a building project. The brand names you trust to perform. And with a fleet of over 50 delivery vehicles, we deliver when and where our customers need them. Beltates Building Products. 9 locations throughout New Hampshire and Massachusetts.
Tilton police officers spent Sunday morning investigating 2 overnight break-ins, one targeting a Taco Bell, the other a local antique shop.
The officers in the detective division are actively investigating it.
Sergeant Brian Kid Keeler says while overall call volume in town is down and they're responding to fewer car crashes and shoplifting, some other crimes remain prevalent.
Our domestic disturbances with people being inside their residence, burglary, property crime.
But statewide, recent weeks have been slower overall for first responders.
This is 911. Can you hear me?
Dispatchers in Concord and Laconia, who handle all 911 calls statewide, are answering far fewer calls these days, according to Emergency Services Director Mark Doyle.
We've actually seen a reduction in calls to the tune of about 30 to 40%.
Doyle says he thinks it's a result of more people staying home. But with COVID-19 cases still on the rise, his agency is bracing for a dramatic turn for the worse when the virus peaks.
As we start to look forward to the next couple of weeks, we anticipate call volume to rise significantly because of the surge that's anticipated. Folks are going to be sick.
Doyle and police officers also want to remind people only to call 911 for emergencies. If you have questions about COVID-19 in general or what to do if you have symptoms, you're urged to call the state's 211 hotline. Reporting in Tilton, Tyler Dumont, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Man killed in officer-involved shooting on Lakeshore Road in Manchester. Officers uninjured in incident. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
At Beltates, customers will find everything they need for a building project. The brand names you trust to perform. And with a fleet of over 50 delivery vehicles, we deliver when and where our customers need them. Beltates Building Products. 9 locations throughout New Hampshire and Massachusetts.
Well, Mike, one person has died in this shooting. It's all taking place here on Lake Shore Road. We are stationed at the roadblock that has been set up by Manchester Police. But if you look beyond the blue lights, you'll see another set of lights. That is the State Police Major Crime Unit. They arrived here about an hour ago. This is a wooded area of Lake Shore Road that runs right next to Lake Messabeesic. Now, Manchester Police say officers were called here around 6 o'clock this evening to investigate a report of a white Chevy truck belonging to a Carl Manning of Manchester. The 62-year-old was wanted by Manchester Police in connection to a suspicious fire and explosion that happened in the Queen City earlier this morning. As officers approached Manning's truck, police say they encountered Manning inside that vehicle. They also say Manning appeared to be armed. A short time later, Manning was shot during a confrontation with police. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Now, right now, very few details are being released as to what actually happened during that confrontation that led to those officers opening fire. Manchester Police right now are just saying that those officers were not hurt. Their names are not being released as this is still an ongoing and active investigation. Of course, we'll provide more information both on air and online as soon as it becomes available. For now, we're live here in Manchester. I'm Tim Callery, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Man hospitalized after officer-involved shooting at Concord Park. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
I'm your Century Roofing foreman.
And I'm customer service.
And I'm the installer.
We're the Century Roofing team. Call us today.
Century Roofing, we got you covered.
Tonight, a man is in the hospital and facing charges after he was shot during a confrontation with police. Late last night, Concord police officers responded to a burglar alarm at the skate house in White Park. A short time later, investigators say 22-year-old Dylan Stolley was spotted on a nearby ball field and appeared to be armed. He was shot and taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening gunshot wounds.
Mr. Stolley has been charged with burglary, reckless conduct, and felon in possession of a firearm. Those charges are currently pending. In the meantime, our office, along with the state police, will be investigating the officer-involved use of force to determine whether or not it was justified under the law.
It's not clear what led up to the shots being fired. No one else was hurt. For now, the names of the officer or officers involved are being withheld.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Stocks are set to jump with Dow futures pointing to a more than 800-point gain. U.S. stock futures rose early Monday morning as slowing death rates in Europe have offered up some hope for international markets. Americans brace for possible approach of coronavirus peak. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
And we begin tonight with America bracing for what could be the worst of the coronavirus outbreak in the days ahead. The Trump administration warning it could be, quote, the hardest and saddest week yet. As we come on the air tonight, a major spike in U.S. cases, now more than 331,000, roughly 30,000 more than this time last night. And the country now with more than 9,400 deaths. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo reporting more than 4,000 deaths in his state and saying the state could be very near the apex. All hospitals in New York City, if they are not already, will be at or near capacity this week. Detroit reporting its deadliest day so far, including the city's first death of a postal carrier. The nation's top infectious disease expert, Dr. Anthony Fauci, urging everyone to buckle down. The virus is not under control. ABC's Trevor Ault leads us off.
Tonight, with the nation already reeling from COVID-19's catastrophic death toll, the Surgeon General warning Americans to brace for what could be the hardest and saddest week of their lives.
The next week is going to be our Pearl Harbor moment. It's going to be our 9/11 moment. It's going to be the hardest moment for many Americans in their entire life.
Officials say 3 hot zones across the country, New York, Detroit, and Louisiana, are likely a week from hitting the apex. Leaders there pleading for help, saying their healthcare systems are on the brink of disaster.
The system is over capacity, all across the board. It's just over capacity. You're asking a system to do more than it has ever done before, more than it was designed to do with less.
With every New York City hospital expected to be at or near total capacity this week, Governor Andrew Cuomo says frontline workers are being asked to do the impossible. Video from the New York Times showing Brooklyn Hospital Center's ICU pushed to the limit. Hospital staff telling the Times other departments are jumping in to help, and the staff there is not immune. The hospital estimating a third of its doctors and nurses are out sick, one landing in the ICU themselves. With more than 1,700 New Yorkers dead in 3 days, the governor saying the state is still in grave need of crucial equipment, despite reinforcements from around the country and the world.
So right now, 1,000 military medical personnel are on their way here to the Javits Center to help treat COVID-19 patients. Just weeks ago, this was a convention center. It's now one of the largest hospitals in the entire country.
Michigan's Governor Gretchen Whitmer says the virus is spreading exponentially in her state, especially around Detroit.
We've got hospitals that are already at capacity. We don't have enough personal protection equipment.
At least 3 Detroit area nurses on the front lines have died from the virus, including Lisa Ewald, who'd been isolating by herself, dying at home just days before her 54th birthday.
She gave no care or concern for herself but only care and concern for others.
Louisiana has the highest death rate per capita in the country. Governor John Bel Edwards says his state is on track to run out of ventilators on Thursday if this pace continues. New Orleans Montreal Convention Center now set to open as a temporary hospital. Officials urging all Americans to take precautions before the virus peaks in their area. The next 2 weeks critical for places like Pennsylvania, Colorado, and Washington, D.C.
This is the moment to not be going to the grocery store, not going to the pharmacy, but doing everything you can to keep your family and your friends safe.
With the second highest number of cases in the country, New Jersey now ordering 20 temporary morgues to prepare for the virus's toll. Models show the state about a week behind New York. Washington State today announcing they're sending back 400 ventilators to the dwindling national stockpile. Governors seeing the pain in the current hot zones fear when their time comes, equipment and personnel will be in short supply. The president continuing to go after governors who criticize the administration's response.
If they had started in February building ventilators, getting ready for this pandemic, we would not have the problems that we have today, and frankly, very many fewer people would die.
Illinois' governor says he asked for 4,000 ventilators to save his state in a worst-case scenario. But he says the vice president told him Illinois only needs 1,400.
I hear him. He's always complaining, and yet I just said, give me a list of a couple of the things we've done in Illinois. He's not able to do what you're supposed to be able to do as a governor. He has not performed well.
More than 9,400 people have died in this country from coronavirus, with more than 330,000 confirmed cases. But even in hardest-hit New York, 75% of those hospitalized have been discharged and are on the mend. Like Christina Pass, who survived her 15-day battle with COVID-19. The mother of 5 wheeled out of a New York City hospital through a sea of applauding workers, reuniting at last with her husband.
Such a powerful and reassuring moment right there. Trevor Ault joins us live from the Javits Center. And Trevor, with New York City seeing so many cases, they were anticipated to run out of ventilators as early as tonight. But Mayor de Blasio says they haven't run out yet.
Oh, that's right, Tom. The mayor says that New York City has 135 ventilators left in its stockpile, so they have a few extra days, but a dire shortage could still be coming. They're expected to run out Tuesday or Wednesday, and the mayor continues to plead with the federal government to get more ventilators sent to New York City. Tom.
Trevor Ault leading us off tonight. Trevor, thank you.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for this morning edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Thank you for watching this morning edition of the Riley King Newscast. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. They'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Goodbye, everyone.